Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Josh from DBU, obviously.
And I'm Jay, also maybe obviously from DBU,
And we saw Broly today, and we want to talk about it.
and we do. It was epic.
Oh my God.
The hype is
I
real, folks.
it is. I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen it by this point, but if you've not, go because as far as I can tell, they've extended the releases. Like when we got our tickets over the weekend, there was only one showing today, and or sorry, today being Monday, uh, but not today. Whenever it is you're watching this, we decided to go
We seen
today.
it on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
decided to wait until then because we've both got kids and they had the day off from school and they're both fans as well and wanted to see it, so it just seemed to make sense. But when we got our tickets, there was only one showing at 1 o'clock, and when we got out of the theater, there was somebody working at the mall that we were at and he was interested in seeing it, and I checked the show times on my phone and it was up to 3 showings a day, and the showings were going till Thursday instead of, I believe, Tuesday it was originally stopping, which was kind of why we were planning on putting the video out on Tuesday. So yeah, it looks like it's obviously doing well, but it looks like because it's doing well, it's gotten a lot more show times. Unfortunately, still none close to us. We have
Yeah, we
theaters.
still have, what, like an hour? We had to drive an hour away in freezing
Our,
tundra after a
our
snowstorm.
yeah, that was a really fun part too. Where we live, we got hit with quite a bit of snow, and I live further north from Jared, so it was about an hour and 20-minute drive for me, hour for him, and that was the closest theater that we could go to see it. But once we got into that town, there were three different places we could have seen it, which was nice. It was all over. Decent turnout, about half full on a Monday. That's not bad, I would say.
Which was weird. I mean, didn't we, when we purchased our tickets, it was showing that the entire theater was practically like 75% sold out, I thought.
It was pretty up there, yeah. It was the hardest part was getting a group large enough.
Oh,
Like there
that's right.
were,
We were trying to find five seats right
yeah,
together. Okay.
yep.
That's true too. I just thought that it was more packed than it was. And then
It was
even
a
when we
solid half
got
full.
there,
I mean, both digitally and IRL. It was a solid half full.
half full, half empty, pessimist, optimist,
But yeah, so we've talked about how the movie did and how it extended showings, but not yet what we liked about the movie. What we I mean, did you dislike anything about the movie? Let's just get that out of the way if there was anything. Because I
No, I mean, I
did
was
not.
kind of, I mean, to jump right to the very end, I mean, I was kind of apprehensive to have, we had discussed this on the car ride back, actually, how it seems like all
Spoilers,
of
by the way.
the,
Sorry.
oh yeah, spoilers
We
coming
forgot to
up. Yeah,
mention. Yeah, this is a spoiler
just stop
spoiler
listening
filled
right
review.
now and listen to the fact that this is the number five grossing anime of all time in U.S. theaters. And see ya. But if you want to carry on, continue on. Spoilers ahead. Yeah, it seems like all of the villains, from Dragon Ball and up until the end of Super movies included, whatever. The majority of the villains all seem to come around. Like you said, Tien. And I forgot about Tien, but I mentioned, from Piccolo to Vegeta, and even the good version, granted there's still an evil version, of Boo. Beerus, who's actually not really a bad guy, he's the destroyer, so it's kind of his job kind of thing. But
Yeah.
like all of these villains that end up becoming either, more or less good guys. I mean, Vegeta still is very competitive with Goku, but you've seen him grow and become, for lack of a better word, more soft and more of a family man over the years, and pertaining to Vegeta specifically. And at the very end, when Broly ultimately is seen kind of not so much as an ally, but almost like another, Saiyan training partner to further their strength. Um, it was a nice new take on it. I just I guess I'm just kind of annoyed that every villain, Frieza included, that was the main pitch. Frieza, kind of joining them, and that's not really a spoiler within the film because if you watched, Super, in Japanese, obviously it's over, but in English, it just got to the point where he's been recruited for the Tournament of Power.
Yeah, he's
So,
he's weirdly an ally at this point. And not
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
And this movie makes it apparent that he's not quite he's not done being a dick.
No, not by any means. Actually, the movie, since it takes place after the fact, actually, kind of it makes him, I don't know, the movie reiterates Frieza's initial point of saying that after the tournament of power, don't think that shit's over between us, Kakarot,
Yeah.
monkey, whatever. So, I mean, like I said, I'm still kind of iffy on that whole aspect, but I think with him not being an all-out villain that they just up and kill like they have to with just straight villains, I think that opens it up to a broader possibility of what they can do. And another thing we had mentioned before was that how now that he's an ally in the end, um, it could open up to the next Dragon Ball Super series, actually starting off where this movie does, and then kind of expand on it, just like they did with Resurrection F and Battle of Gods, and kind of fill in the gaps in between, and actually get to know and love Broly a lot more than people did before, before he was canon in the original first three iterations of Broly.
And I do now. I mean, I'll get to the stuff that I didn't like, which is few and far between. But that is one thing I do is I do love Broly. He was one of my least favorite characters across the entire franchise. But what they did with him in this movie, he was so deep. Just the original. That's what I hated about Broly. The original Broly, he had a great design and a terrifying power, and he was an awesome character to look at and to watch him fight. But he was just he had nothing. His motivation was the dumbest thing out of all 13 Dragon Ball movies, Z movies, sorry. And this new version is just I going into it before I knew anything about the movie, I didn't want there to be some ending where Broly survived and became anything sort of a good guy because it's been done so many times, which I know that's kind of a
Yep.
staple in Dragon Ball. Most villains turn around, but I didn't want that. And then by the time I got into this movie, not even far into this movie, halfway through with Broly, I wanted it. I was like, please, please do not let this Broly go. I need to know more about him. This can't be an hour and a half endeavor. Like, they made Broly from such a shallow character to, I, if they did a whole season when Super came back just focusing on him, I would watch every episode with just, oh my God, they did such a good job with so few words too. It was really everybody around Broly that told Broly's story in this movie, and yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't think I
let's
was
jump
going
to
into the movie
that.
rooting for him, and I was. Like, Gogeta is canon now, and I did not want him to win that fight. The thing about this movie is that Broly is not the villain, his power is. And his father. His father's a dick. And a little bit Frieza. But Paragus is a douchebag, and he gets what's coming, and it's kind of hilarious. One of the funnier scenes in the movie, even though it's quite dark. But Broly is not a bad guy. And I they just did a great job. It was beautiful, and the movie was beautiful. I guess the only thing that I disliked, oddly enough, I loved every part of Gogeta's fight. His entrance was just a little weird. It was funny, but it felt disjointed. Like, they had to leave the battle, and they instant transmissioned out of the battle and did so by sicking Broly on Frieza, which was just great and almost kind of reminded me of, in a weird way, of Frieza's disc coming back for him way back in his first fight with Goku. But then
Oh, on Namek. Yep.
yeah, but then from there we go to they teach the one thing going into this movie when I saw Gogeta and I knew he was going to be canon. I was like, how like, okay, it's going to have to be at some point Vegeta learned the fusion dance. Like, he saw the kids doing it. He's a talented martial artist. It made sense. He just watched him enough times and he caught it. But no, they had to leave the fight, teach him fusion, fuck it up twice, and apparently the entire time Frieza just got pummeled by Broly. Like a straight hour of fusion failure. With what did you call Gogeta the first time? The failure. Speaking of,
Oh, yeah,
oh,
fajita. Fajita. Yeah,
uh,
the fat misshapen King Kai sounding. Yeah, that's fajita,
yeah.
folks. You heard it here
Henceforth,
first.
he shall be known as Fajita,
I
and
didn't
it's
think of one for
awesome.
the Skeletor long face version.
Me either, and we had a lot
I
of
I didn't.
time. We saw this movie like 8 hours ago.
I know. I really should have thought of a good. Like, she had a horse face like Ann Coulter, but that wasn't really appropriate. But anyway, yeah, that what you just said there about sicking Frieza, or excuse me, sicking Broly on Frieza
I
is
hope that's what I said.
reminiscent of the fact that he has been, treated like a dog throughout the film.
He really
Where his
is.
father,
You
yeah,
you
his
you
father had
feel
that
for Broly. He's sad.
the
His
static collar. Yeah.
his character is sad. And yeah, on the note of the collar, they actually did. It seemed like Toriyama enjoyed a lot of aspects of the movies that Broly and Gogeta came from because we got to see a lot of them come back. I mean, between Broly, instead of having like a magical headband or that stopped Broly from transforming like in the original movie, he's got a shock collar now, but it was still obviously very reminiscent. But Gogeta used the Spirit Breaker, which I didn't expect at all. Like that was kind of the one thing he did in his original non-canon appearance, and that came back.
However, the Big Bang Kamehameha did not.
Did not.
It
Why
did
the Big
not do
Bang
that.
Kamehameha can't happen coming 2023.
Yeah, and to get a better feel on why the original Broly can't happen, you can go peep that video anytime you'd like on the channel,
It has two
and you
sequels.
can
They're
see
dope.
and you can see about his original. Not that you don't already know, but the original BS reason why like Broly's motives are so ridiculous and absurd, and how they focused primarily on Broly's kind of hatred towards Vegeta, not so much Kakarot.
Yeah, big switch. And
Yeah, his
something you
entire.
pointed out on the ride home, Broly did not say Kakarot once in the entire movie.
No, no, and that was what I was ultimately trying to segue into, but kept losing my train of thought was how absurd the storyline for the original Broly was and so on, and just the character was awesome and everything, but much like he has few words in this new one, it's the new one is more seeming like he just doesn't know anything and more infantile, whereas the original Broly was very brutish and luggish, and like all he said was screaming Kakarot and made him seem just like a brooding moron, a Neanderthal, more or less, is the
And when
way
he
I
did
kind of.
talk, it was just evil talk for the sake of being evil. Like Broly didn't
Yeah, it
have
was
an
kind of
evil
like.
word come out of his mouth in this movie. He's innocent.
And when
He's
yeah, but it was very Hulkish though. That's a word that's the word I guess I was going for in the sense that like he just can't formulate sentences that great. But I mean, what does he really know? Because all he really did was get sent off to another planet to train with his father for vengeance on King and Prince Vegeta.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like this Broly and Paragus were stranded on a shit deserted planet because rather than kill him or at least attempt to kill him like King Vegeta did in the original movie, in this version he sends him away and sends him off to a planet where he hopefully will just die. Paragus follows him and they get stranded there for 41 years where Broly does nothing but get trained by Paragus sort of because Paragus couldn't take a punch from Broly. Honestly, I think 4800 they said his battle power was, and that's one thing too. Like I
Oh, the battle power.
yeah, they switched from power levels to battle power, which I'm okay with, but what felt weird was that was all over the place in this movie again. I mean, there was a lot of like the scouters can't even read their power, but we haven't focused on power levels in so long, so it to me I kind of liked that they came back cuz I know that they're bullshit, but they stand as a good reference point. It stands as a good number for potential, not an actual locked in power, but it's nice to see where certain characters lie. But anyway, pretty sure Paragus they said 4800 which, going by old Saiyan standards, barely stronger than Nappa, I believe.
Yeah, who we finally got to see with a little bit of hair.
Yeah,
And he was there with a
little
young
tuft.
Vegeta, but he did not ask Vegeta what the scouter said about his power level.
He did not, but who was next to Vegeta that I was really happy to see? Little Raditz. He had a weird
Yeah, the man.
voice. He had a really weird voice. Sorry, Justin Cook. I met you 10 years ago, by the way. Hi. But yeah, I just, it was weird because Raditz sounded pretty adultish. It was just his proportions. He had a really big head and he wore little shorts and he was tiny. And one thing I kind of liked, though, about that, seeing the young Vegeta and Raditz, because this was like a few years later, it almost felt going back to Dragon Ball the way proportions were always kind of weird with young characters. Like, little Goku in Dragon Ball is 13 pretty much when we meet him. Gohan's 2 years younger than that when he fights Cell, and Gohan's like twice as tall and ripped, and Goku's this like kind of chubby little nugget. And
Yeah,
so
well,
that was one
those
thing I liked
proportions,
was
I think, are where pop vinyls got their inspiration.
kind of makes
Like,
sense.
that's what it looks like. Pop vinyls who their inspiration
I
was.
want
Was
I
their
want little
weird,
kid Raditz. I want a little kid Raditz pop
yeah,
vinyl.
yeah.
Actually, I just
That
want a
and the
Raditz pop
new
vinyl
Super
in general.
Saiyan, the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan one now too is
Oh,
a thing.
we went to Think Geek and he wasn't there, and I want him. He has lightning around him and stuff. Okay,
No,
but
but a lot of SH figure arts were. But anyway,
to Broly,
back, yeah, Broly, Raditz.
things
Oh,
we
and one more
like.
thing about not only was Broly treated like a dog, one thing that bothered me though was, like I had said before, like now they whatever they're retconning it so on, but it just seemed like the Saiyans were always referred to as the warrior race, and now we're having low level just freaking Saiyan pilots that are piloting aircraft that can't fight for shit, and when they land on the planet, they can't even take out these giant ladybug looking creatures. I mean, granted, I don't know how their power levels were. I mean, for all I know, they're as powerful as Harudagon was, but
Yeah, true.
they spent they spent an awful lot of time fighting off these big fucking beetles on this random planet in the middle of nowhere. And not only was Broly treated like a dog, but apparently he smelled like one because his best friend was a giant worm, a fuzzy worm monster, and the origin of his cloth is actually, an earlobe, or actually it was the whole ear, the whole
Yeah,
left ear.
and I thought that story was kind of awesome. Like, it was sad, but it was just it was another part. Like, I want to know more. I want the whole season of Dragon Ball Super Broly. I want an episode all about, I think, Bo or something was his name. He named him after the noise that he made, and it was cute. And then
Oh yeah.
Paragus shot his ear off, and they didn't get along so much after that. I think it's
Yeah, but
implied
he didn't
Broly had
kill
to
him.
kill
He
him.
just shot his ear off, but it kind of severed their friendship. It almost would have seemed better if he did kill it, you know? But then
I
again,
think
Broly.
it seemed kind of implied that Broly might have killed him, though. Not at that moment, but
Oh,
that eventually
oh
Broly had to kill
yeah,
him.
yeah. Maybe they got into a scuffle. Maybe Paragus didn't kill him for fear of him unleashing his power.
Yeah,
That
or
was another theme. Had to control him. So
could have been a full moon night because Paragus also confirmed that at some point during this 41-year span, likely more than once, Broly turned into a great ape on that planet. And I'm pretty sure in
oh,
the half a second flash we got, his fur was green. I'm not positive. I gotta wait for the Blu-ray. It could have even just been the way they decided to make it look. There might have been a green filter over the whole thing, but I'm pretty sure it was a greenish furred Great Ape Broly. But we did get to
oh
see a
yeah.
small hint of Great Ape Broly. And he doesn't have a tail under that cloak. Paragus decided to remove it for his own sake. But
Yeah, and
then,
early on as a child, he had mentioned something about him. When he first came out of the pod or something, his armor was cracked, and he assumed he had gone Ozaru and turned into a great ape.
yeah,
But that was, it clearly was not the case.
I think it took him 2 days to get to him. I mean, so it's possible, but I think it was maybe more likely that he beefed up Maybe he was
Yeah, he
wearing
just
an older
powered up
style
and
armor
just
that.
probably cracked his armor.
Yeah.
Because if the Saiyans can go Ozaru, which we can see in countless times throughout Dragon Ball Z and even GT if we want to go down that road, but as they transform, their armor shrinks. Their armor gets big, with them. As they power up, so does their armor.
Yeah, like Vegeta.
So like, yeah, Vegeta, case in point. So if Broly had gone Ozaru prior to Paragus arriving and seeing his cracked armor and all that nonsense, then it would stand to reason that nothing would have happened to his armor. I mean, unless what, the big bug monsters are going to mess with an overpowered Broly ape? Get out of here. So his armor was just cracked. He just crazy powered up, which is a testament, in that of itself.
Maybe King Vegeta gave him shitty armor because he clearly didn't like him.
Oh, yeah, no. That too. I mean, they already have low-level Saiyans that are apparently making the cut, and they're giving them piloting jobs because they're not cut out to be warriors.
Well,
so
one thing,
maybe
though,
they have...
I mean, if you think about it, they're not warriors in the same sense as, like, Vegeta, or even Raditz, for that matter. Sorry, Raditz, I like you a lot. But, even, like they were pilots and, like, snipers and stuff like that, so they did still have a sense of battle about them, even if they were weak and stuff. But
well, yeah, even that one dude though, he was like, most of the pilot, a lot of them though, they just get into a pod and it brings them to where they gotta go, and then they just decimate planets.
Yeah.
This other dude was like the pilot of the ship and was clearly saying, "I'm not a fighter."
Oh yeah, no, he was weak too. Battle power 980, I think. I gotta watch it again. I don't think I'm gonna get to see it again in theaters, but I'm gonna watch it 8 times. We'll do a retrospective when the Blu-ray comes out, and maybe watch it with a more critical eye and have more negative things to say about it. But it was awesome. It looked awesome, and it gave us a lot of history.
The animation. We didn't even talk about the animation.
The worst parts of Broly were better than the best parts of Battle of Gods. It was gorgeous. I noticed it a lot of points, especially in close-ups. It had a shake to it, almost like it had a handheld camera kind of a look. There were
got to see
moments in speech
first-person view.
Yes,
we got to see a first-person view.
We got to be Broly for a second.
Yeah, which was actually awesome, and I don't think they've done that before.
I don't think so. I mean, unless you played Dragon Ball Z for Connect.
No, that doesn't count.
You and I should play Dragon Ball Z for Connect sometime. It'll be funny. There's a little scouter in the upper corner, and it shows, like, our fat bodies and what we'd look like. Yeah, it's nice. We're going to do it. I'm going to talk him into it, guys. Don't worry.
I can't get on board with the full-on, like, everything is more gorgeous than Battle of Gods. There's a couple of scenes, like, when Beerus and Goku were fighting, in the center of the earth or whatever, that were pretty well done.
Yeah.
That hold the test. That could stand up to some of the better scenes in Broly. But they did a better job of using more 3D looking animation in the background with the 2D animation in the foreground that gave it that third depth feeling. It was almost as if you're watching a 3D movie that was animated without 3D glasses. It was. Yeah. It was really good, really good.
There was a point, I think, when like there was a lot of destruction of the ground. There was a point that just it clearly went into some CG with the destruction and the ice blowing up and everything, but it just looked so gorgeous, and it didn't have any of the characters over the top to have like a sharp contrast. I think that kind of helped. They kind of just had like 10 seconds of, hey, watch some of the planet blow up for a while.
Yeah, and they hit every
really
color.
Nice.
Every color was very vivid and in very different times, and there was a lot of
and present. I think every color that the human eye can comprehend was in that movie somewhere.
Exactly.
It was a colorful ass movie. Had some Doctor Strange stuff.
And they didn't make it all rainbow-y. I mean, certain parts they did, but they did a very good job of like contrasting the heavy greens, bright greens, and with a dark background to make it really pop.
And I think every transformation looked amazing.
That's what I wanted to say. It looked like they. Sony is actually in the process of like trademarking their new animation style they did for the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, I heard that.
But did you watch Spider-Verse?
I did not get to see it.
Oh, Jesus.
I
You
know.
have to
It's
see it.
just one of those ones
Yeah,
I
and
missed.
they're trademarking that new animation style. So, I mean, obviously this is not that, but there were scenes in this that had a similar feel to it, that Spider-Verse did with the animation.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I saw enough trailers of Spider-Verse, and I'm pretty sure they use a similar, like the Spider-Verse is a more, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know anything about animation, but something similar to the Lego movie, I believe, was used, or in the Lego movie was used. Like the evolution of the Lego movie's
Right.
animation was Spider-Verse's animation. But Broly looked amazing. Not just Broly the character, but every frame of the movie was just gorgeous.
The
It
sound
was,
effects too.
yeah,
The sound of the auras was it just seemed very vivid. I mean, maybe it was just because I was so into it, but I don't know.
maybe
The
new.
movie was like one of the longest movies, if not the longest,
Yeah, I think it
and
might have been longer than Battle of Gods.
it didn't really seem like it. Like the entire last, I don't know, at least half an hour was all battle.
Yeah, like Act
I
3
mean,
was go, Broly, go.
yeah, exactly, and it was hardcore. And he
It
did
still
do,
had
you know,
some
there was
funny
of
bits.
course. Yeah, there were still some comedic moments. That was actually back to one thing I didn't really like was I thought they kind of over exaggerated how much it really hurt for Super Saiyan God Goku to get slammed on the ground. I mean,
Oh
it was
yeah,
kind of ice and snow,
had
but I
some
just
Broly
sounded like,
smash, and I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah,
props
it
to
was Broly
Schemmel though.
smash, exactly.
Oh yeah, we
Huh?
haven't discussed. I said props to Schemmel though. I mean, he didn't have any choice in that matter. He just had. They're like, all right, Goku gets smashed, and he's like, oh, okay, I gotta scream a lot, and he did a really good job. They were very convincing pain screams. I think that maybe Chris Sabat
Oh
might have been
yeah,
taking a bat to his knees in the vocal booth because
yeah. Oh yeah,
he
it
sounded like he
really
was in
sounded
pain.
like yeah, it really did sound like Schemmel was hurting. So
Yeah,
I thought it was a bit much, but it I mean it fit the part. It just didn't seem like it was really hurting. It wouldn't really hurt Super Saiyan God Goku
yeah.
that
He was
much.
just getting
You know what I mean?
smashed around in some ice. I mean, when he grabbed the back of his head and ran him through about 150 feet of cliff, that one might have hurt.
Yeah,
That
that
one,
one. Yeah, that one
I
maybe.
believe
But the
that.
four slams back and forth prior to that were the ones I'm speaking on specifically, which you guys will also
And that
hear
being
and
said,
see.
we are specifically saying that we don't think it would hurt Goku. Like, that would kill either Jared or I on the first slam, no
J-Rod,
doubt.
J-Rod,
I'm sorry. That's what I said. I just
Giru,
said it really
Giru.
I said it
Wait
really
a minute.
fast.
Control Alt Delete.
Said it really fast. Um,
Oh, and speaking of screams, back to
Ramrod.
Schemmel. When they went to when Goku went to scream and power up for going blue, SSGSS, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, whatever you want to call it, the freaking cottonmouth that it
He went
comes
from
with.
SSG to SSGSS.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm just saying, if you want to call it Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan SSGSS, or just Super Saiyan Blue, it's a bit ridiculous at this point, but whatever. We'll roll with it because it's Dragon Ball Z and Akira
I miss the
Toriyama.
days when I thought Super Saiyan God was a mouthful. I miss those days.
Yeah, yeah. But
But anyway,
his scream from that form to the ascended blue form, that was very intense.
one of his best,
Um,
I would say.
yeah, one of his best. Like we had said, not necessarily in length. Overall intensity was definitely there. But my still favorite scream is when he goes Super Saiyan 3 in Wrath.
It's not all about length always, but I have to agree. I
Sure it is.
what? There's so many good things to say about this film that I can't.
Well,
Paragus had his eye scar. That's not a good thing, but that was a nice reference to the old movie.
he had what?
He had a scar over his eye. The older form of Paragus had the eye scar, just like he did in Old Broly,
Oh, yeah.
which
You
was just
said you
another
like
little
the
tip of the cap.
yeah. You said you like the Super Saiyan Blue transformation scream better than the Wrath of the Dragon one that I prefer.
I think so, but it's also, I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't seen the Wrath of the Dragon, or no, not Wrath of the Dragon, Fusion Reborn, I think. Right? Is that am I? It's your favorite Scream, so I don't want to mess that up.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Wow, yeah, I totally misspoke
Okay,
on two
yeah.
separate occasions there.
We
Yes,
just did
Fusion
we just did
Reborn.
Wrath of the Dragon recently. Still on.
Yeah, no, no, no. Fusion
It still
Reborn, which is
hurts.
odd because the main character like is Gogeta, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
common
As
theme.
as of
Gogeta. How am I
now,
gonna mess that up?
as of now, I would say that Goku's Super Saiyan Blue transformation in this movie is my favorite, but I saw it in theaters and I missed Fusion Reborn in theaters. It's actually the only movie I missed in theaters, and well, Bardock
Yeah,
when they
no, we
played
both
together.
missed that one because
So
we
I
didn't get to go. We
really,
would have went
yeah, I really wish that had we gone to that and I got to see them both in the same theater and heard the screams, I think I'd have a better comparison. And
in
also,
THX.
just saw it today. So, but as of now, yeah, give it a couple of months retrospective, and I'll answer again. Figure out what our favorite
Yeah.
Schemmel scream is
Well,
for
I don't know
mine.
how long that one was in the new Broly,
It
but
felt
I mean
it
it was a
was
good
definitely shorter,
intense. Yeah, for sure.
a
Certainly.
lot shorter.
But it was shorter, but it had intensity and it was not interrupted. That's the one thing that I'll say, you know, a million times over is I hate the interruption when Goku is screaming and going Super Saiyan 3 in Fusion. When he's going Super Saiyan 3 and he gets interrupted and midway through his scream. When they come back from that and he finishes out and his voice starts to crackle and you think Schemmel's about to bust a few capillaries in his eye and pass out in the booth, which he may have. Like that for me, oh man, if they would just, anyway, yeah,
No, I agree.
yeah, that's still my favorite one. But I don't know when that comes out on Blu-ray and I get it, I'm gonna be putting it on surround sound for sure.
What else did what else did you like about what did you have a favorite moment in Broly?
Oh, you know, no, I can't really. I can't really pick a standout single moment because the entire like I said last half an hour third act was just it was all action.
Yeah,
When I finally got to see Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, which is the shirt that I wore to the movie,
yeah,
when that finally came on screen, that like you know woke me up and it was like wow, it's awesome, it's finally here. But for Broly's power to be on par with Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta just seemed kind of like, what the hell? I
yeah. It
mean, I know
was
he's the legendary Super Saiyan and all, but for him
not
to, you
anymore.
know, be that powerful, huh?
So not anymore. He's just big, big old beefy Super Saiyan. That was another thing they didn't say. Well, they did say legendary Super Saiyan, but never in
Yeah.
regards to him, just in regards to the legend itself. But they never applied that legend to him. They did it during the history, like pretty much the entire first act of the movie was Dragon Ball minus slash rebooting Bardock, the father of Go. It was a lot of history between Frieza and the Saiyans. We actually got to see specifically when Frieza took over. We got to see how much older Broly and Vegeta are than Goku. Broly and Vegeta also have similar birthdays now, and Goku's 5 years younger, so there's no longer the Broly and Kakarot were born on the same day portion. But yeah, we actually got to see King Cold ruling over the Saiyans and handing the torch to Frieza, and seeing right off the bat that he did not rule the same way. Like King Cold seemed pretty chill, honestly.
Oh yeah, and we get to see
I didn't
when, you
even.
know, when sorry,
King Cold was
just
chill.
but King Cold was chill.
You get it?
Yes, aptly put. I just wanted to chime in before I forgot about how Paragus, that was the legendary Super Saiyan, how Paragus had heard about the legend but hadn't yet seen it. So you kind of know that was a short foreshadowing that you knew that Broly hadn't yet reached that potential because when Goku first goes Super Saiyan, just base Super Saiyan 1, and Paragus sees the form and Frieza standing there He's like, "Oh, you haven't seen him go Super Saiyan? Are you telling me Broly can't do that?" So we get to see, Paragus lay his eyes on the legendary, the legend of the
Yeah.
Super Saiyan
Well,
for the
actually,
first time.
yeah, through Vegeta, but he doesn't get to see his son do it. Which I think that was my favorite part. At least my favorite non-funny part, though it was kind of darkly funny.
Oh, was it Vegeta first? It was, yeah, because
Yeah,
he fought
Paragus
Vegeta
watched.
and then fought Goku.
Yeah, he watched Vegeta go Super Saiyan. Yeah, and Goku.
Right, yeah,
And then
because he was
during
supposed to
Broly and
save
Goku's
Goku.
fight is when he triggered him.
Yeah, because Frieza ordered them to save Goku for him. That's right.
Yes.
So he fought Vegeta
wanted to
first.
kill.
That's right.
But yeah, in a really kind of abrupt end for Paragus. They're fighting. Frieza asks Paragus for, I believe, the second time, like, so is this the limit of Broly's power? And he's like, I think so. And so Frieza kills Paragus and then screams out to Broly in a sort of comedic fashion that, oh no,
Dark
he was,
comedic.
yeah, well, he was hit by a stray blast, and Broly loses his shit and goes Super Saiyan. But like, oh, base for, like, mind you, Broly fought Goku in his base form. He fought Goku all the way up to Super Saiyan Blue and kept up with him in base form and learned. That was another thing that I really liked about Broly. Goku, all the way back since Dragon Ball, has had a knack for seeing something done one time and doing it, and Broly proved multiple times in this movie he was the same way. Not with Super Saiyan, that happened because of trauma, as it usually does. But
Right.
Broly was learning things on the fly, and it was amazing to see. Like, we saw Goku break out this new kind of key control move we haven't really ever seen him do before, I don't
Oh,
think.
yeah,
And
the
then Broly
Jedi
just did
mind
it.
trick.
Yeah. And then Broly was like, oh, I get it. And then he did it. So that's something I'm excited about for the future of Broly and Super. Like, seeing him, I'm excited for him to train with Goku and Vegeta and to learn from them. Like, this is Broly just with raw power. Imagine when he learns to control it. It's
Yeah.
going to be nuts.
and and yeah, having to fight off. It just showed you how powerful Golden Frieza has become too. If he was able to fight off Broly for an entire hour during the two fuck up fusions.
Yeah.
If Frieza was back there for an hour or so while Piccolo is showing geometry lessons because apparently he's a math genius now too, and
What else does he have to do?
I don't know. Just that whole situation, that just goes to show that how powerful Golden Frieza it can become or is
Yeah.
progressing. But he ends
Also-
on a note saying that the Saiyans always, being Vegeta and Goku, always seem to one up him,
Yeah.
but they really didn't in their by themselves. They did
No.
as Gogeta, but by themselves in their Super Saiyan Blue form, they were having trouble fighting off Broly too. So by that logic,
And we saw
Golden
the whole
Frieza
fight,
is
and that wasn't an
actually-
hour.
What?
As we saw both of their entire fights, and they weren't an hour. Even with Dragon Ball time, like, they weren't fighting Broly for an hour apiece.
No,
and
exactly.
Frieza did. So,
Yeah, and if they got Broly to start attacking Frieza through trickery using Jedi powers and teleported instant transmission, if Frieza was able to in his golden mode, which you see him go, he's like, oh, you're gonna have to make me exert some power, whatever his line was, something to that extent, as Frieza naturally would do or say. Then if he was able to ward off Broly for a full hour, then he's actually now more powerful than Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it only
And-
stands to reason that would be the case.
And it seems he's clearly got the form licked. Like, he can hold that form a lot longer. Doesn't quite like to do it in a natural state. It really seems kind of like a Super Saiyan transformation for him at this point. He's preferring to hang out in Form 4. Form 4 seems to be his natural state now.
Yeah, and
We
you get
only
to
saw him
see-
in his first form in the past.
Oh yeah, he never got his wish. It starts off about Dragon Balls, actually, as it usually does, hence
Yeah.
the title. But he never got his
Dragon Balls
wish.
once
Instead,
again made an appearance.
someone else got a wish.
Chile.
And that they introduced a female character. Yep, by the name of what was it?
Chile, I believe, in the dub. By the way, I think it's obvious after our whole Schemmel rant, but yeah, we're talking about the dub specifically, which was really good. Even people, I think, who tend to bitch about the dub, I don't think they can really deny that Funimation did an awesome job with this movie.
Yeah, I don't think Masako Nozawa is imitating Sean Schemmel that well. We definitely saw the English dub.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was good. Where were we? Chile. That's where we are. Chile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
the one that they're trying to make me attracted to, and I'm not buying it. But by the end of the movie, I was buying it. I had to admit it.
I don't
Saw
know.
the
It
trailers, I was
reminded me
like, nah.
reminded me of Zoe Saldana, the green character.
Oh yeah, and
Gamora, is
kind
that her
of
name?
Gamora, yeah, and
Yeah, it
I
reminded
mean
me of
a
an
little bit
alien like
Bulma. If
Gamora.
I'm not gonna
And what?
I said a little bit Bulma too. Similar
Yeah,
hairstyles.
yeah. Green skin, short hair like Bulma, but it was like white, wasn't it?
Yeah,
What? Okay.
and
Yeah,
she's
and
definitely
she,
seeming to be Broly's love interest, or going to be anyway. That's where they're
yeah,
heading
or
with
at
it.
least she's attracted to Broly. We don't know if
They're
he's
gonna.
capable of that yet.
I feel bad for her if he is. Whew, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah, especially under that freaking that wet dog loincloth of his.
He's learning as he fucks.
So
Sorry, this
yeah,
is spinning off the rails.
through her and her, seemingly wanting the Brol D, they kind of like force us to sympathize with Goku through her. She sympathizes with Broly and sees that he's not this evil person that everyone else is kind of, not even everyone else, but he's not as bad as everyone's kind of thinking. So because she sympathizes and so on, it helps convey that to the audience, and it therefore makes you feel for Broly and kind of not necessarily root for him, but maybe don't want him to die at the end, which is maybe why the movie ended the way that it did, and it makes perfect sense.
I was rooting for him, but I really liked how it ended. I was really expecting the typical ending. I mean, I don't know where I was predicting it was going to go, but as Gogeta was charging up that final attack, I was like, this is it. This is when Gogeta runs out of power because he's in blue and they split, and it didn't happen. He blasted Broly, almost killed him, and thanks to Shenron, Broly was teleported back to the planet where he came from, and that was it. The battle was over. And I gotta admit, I really liked it because I didn't see it coming in any way. And I don't know, I was so, like you said, even if you're not rooting for Broly, which I personally was, I was definitely rooting for him not to die. By the end of the movie, I'm like, no, he can't go. This can't be it. And it wasn't. And I thought it was kind of a neat ending. And then Gogeta was like, nah, to Frieza, because Frieza tried to blast down the ship containing Chile and guy with hat whose name I don't remember.
Red hobo alien creature number 2.
He reminded me of, I think Steve Buscemi will play him if they ever do a live action version. Please don't do a live action version ever of this. But
No,
yeah,
especially if
Frieza
it's
was
gonna
like, I'm
feature
gonna blast
Justin
you, and
Chatwin.
Gogeta was like, no, don't do that. Grabbed his hand and said no.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Red
you're right.
hobo extra.
Gogeta definitely stronger than Frieza. Goku and Vegeta, I don't know.
Well, while we didn't get to see the big bang Kamehameha, Goku, I don't know what form they were in. Maybe they were in blue. Weren't they in blue when they went back to back and did a Kamehameha Gallic gun
Yes,
simultaneously?
they were in blue. They were both blue.
So that was really cool to see, but it was just like one of those key blasts where they're just like, just throwing out 1,000 key blasts that were going to do nothing.
Yeah.
That was the effect that it had, unfortunately.
Gogeta did that a couple of times, and it looked really cool, so I didn't care.
Yeah, but they actually made it like if Gogeta were to do it, you'd know it would hurt.
Yeah.
But by that time, it's like they're already establishing that Broly is this unstoppable hulking dude. So it's like I don't know. Like I said, very Beerus-y in the sense that like he's just wicked powerful. Oh, and he also tries to go at Whis too,
Yeah.
which we
Oh.
kind of see. Yeah, that's something we kind of overlooked and forgot about was
Yeah.
how he tried to fight Whis. Go
And
ahead.
we only got to see seconds of it, but it seemed like he didn't land a hit. Like we said something
No.
to the effect of like, "Oop, that one was almost." Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
like still
pretty
having
sure
fun.
after everything Weiss is, yeah, at the very, even if he landed a hit, like, yeah, Weiss still has even Broly outclassed. Likely Gogeta. How powerful are you, Weiss? And I like it. I like that there's somebody. The bar is still so high. No
Well,
matter how
I
strong
personally
everybody
don't
gets,
know.
Weiss
I
could
don't know where
pop
they
in,
are.
but won't. And I mean, Beerus did not have a lot of screen time in this movie, but God, his sidelining was pretty hilarious. Beerus got
Oh,
to
his yeah,
babysit for
his
the movie.
yeah. He was Bola's babysitter, which is
I
very degrading.
yeah, and I loved it. It's just going to show that even a frickin' god of destruction is softening his edge around these people, and I like it.
Yeah. All in
So
all,
yeah,
excellent movie. I'm
I
not
don't
sure what
yeah
else there is.
I don't
I
know what else I
can.
can say. I can think about it.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear more, I'd be happy for us to do review part two. But it was amazing. It was honestly like 9.9 out of 10, just because I think 10 out of 10 has to be reserved for something that literally makes the brain blow out of the back of my skull. When that happens, that'll get a 10 out of 10 in my obituary.
And why Dragon Ball Super Broly can't happen coming soon.
It can't?
I don't know. I'm just spitballing, talking out of my ass. But yeah, all in all, excellent film.
Yeah. Go see it.
Yeah, best Dragon Ball movie.
Yes, 100%.
Just,
Do your best to
just
see it in the
totally.
theater. If not, get the Blu-ray the day it comes out. Go to your local Walmart and stand there at 11:58 and bug whoever's working in electronics. And be like, hey, I know this isn't your job, but Dragon Ball Super Broly's coming out, and technically it's midnight, so technically I should be allowed to buy it. And they'll go, oh,
Technically,
but they'll go get it for you, and then there you go. It's yours. Go home, watch it, enjoy it,
yeah.
rewind it, watch it again, pause it. Let me know if Broly's fur is green. Except you won't have to, because I'll also be at Walmart waiting for a copy to come out at midnight. This was fun.
I will not.
Go see Broly. Go. Broly. Go.
Till next time.
Get
See
yourself
ya.
a Gogeta postcard. Bye.